Here's a look at the top of La Liga. After the midweek round, Barcelona still leading. Real Madrid 4 points and a game behind them. Real Madrid failing to make ground on Barcelona in this midweek action. Obviously, they had that loss to Athletic. Mbappe had another penalty saved. Afterwards, he accepted responsibility on Instagram and has spoken out about it, saying, "Bad result, a big mistake in a match where every detail counts. I take full responsibility for it. A difficult moment, but it's the best time to change the situation and show who I am." Obviously, Real Madrid and Mbappe have been dominating the headlines in Spain this morning on the front of the sports dailies. Marca saying still not measuring up. As saying there's no consolation. Mundo Deportivo, Blanco knockout, white knockout. What a disaster, say Sport. One of the good things is that we have a French journalist on with us tonight in Julien. I say that, Jules, because yesterday Sidlow was telling us that some of the French contingent, the journalists that is, in Madrid, have said that they don't think Mbappe has been quite the same for the last 18 months. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think what happened at PSG last season, especially, has left some scars. I think physically, the fact that he didn't play much between the end of January and the end of the season, for example, the Euros that he had, breaking his nose, wearing the mask, things not going great. And then obviously this move, which, as we said a million times, his dream move, the dream move for his family too. Did he expect things to be a bit easier? And I don't want to say that he took anything for granted, because I don't think that would be fair on him, because he knew this is the biggest club in the world. It's not easy, but I think he thought this is a great team. I can just integrate myself. I speak Spanish already. This will help me, and things should be fine. And things are not fine. And to be fair to the newspapers, Kylian doesn't read what happened. He doesn't need Marca or us or well, he doesn't even count the Barcelona newspapers, because they are from Barcelona for a reason. But he doesn't need people to tell him that things are not working out for him right now. He knows enough. He doesn't listen, he doesn't watch, he doesn't read what's in the media in Spain. He doesn't need to, really. He knows himself that there's a lot of things that he's not doing right. There are things that are okay, and I think the goal against Getafe is a wonderful goal. Even the strike yesterday that led to the Bellingham goal is great. It's not Kylian's fault if Valverde tries to not make somebody in his own 30 yards, and that ends up being the winning goal from Athletic Club de Bilbao either. So I think he thought maybe things would be easier. They're not. He's working really hard. And the thing with him, as we saw with that social media post that you read, Kay, is that he's not going to give up.
Yeah,
I slightly disagree with Alex in the sense that I don't think he should be taking the penalty if he's low in confidence, because I think results are way more important for Carlo Ancelotti at the moment. But that's by the by. Anybody can miss a penalty. I'm really not concerned about missing penalties. I think the bigger concern is, as Jules is pointing out, is his overall performances at the moment and his confidence in the way Real Madrid are playing. I think that's much more important than somebody scuffing a penalty. The other side, and I said it on yesterday's show, I'm utterly convinced that things would have been different for him and his start at Real Madrid if he'd made this move the first time around, when it came around the first time, and he was somewhat coerced or pressured, I don't know how much, into staying at PSG. And we all said at the time that was the time to go. But he huffed and puffed and whatever, and they talked about projects, and he stayed, and maybe he did go a little bit stale. And then he makes this move. Things have slightly changed in the dynamic at Real Madrid, and he's gone into a side that is struggling to find its feet this season, that now does have a few injuries, and people are going to look at him. It's only natural. They looked at Ronaldo, they looked at Benzema, they looked at all these superstars that have played for Real Madrid. They're going to look at you and say, "What are you doing for us? What are you doing for us in this troubled time?" And the answer is not a lot at this moment in time from Kylian Mbappe. And he can put the posts out and he can do all that, and that's fine. But as long as if he's training hard and he's working hard, then he'll figure it out and he'll get there. But if he's not, I think his struggles could continue.
Jan, where do you stand on this penalty conversation that's being had here, where in one way you could look at it and if you're scoring them, it's extra goals for you and it's going to boost your confidence, but then if you are taking them, it's not working for you. Obviously, that's only going to be harder for you. Like, what's that pressure like for him there to be making that decision?
Well, for a striker, the penalty should be an easy goal. You know that you relax people when you get on a score sheet. But I think that the biggest thing by Real Madrid is to win football games and get goals. And when Bellingham scored, he should probably have taken this one or whatever. That is one discussion. But I think it's a big, greater discussion here. This is a young man coming to Madrid. Sometimes we're overdoing the superstar thing, go out and produce. They are like machines. This is a young kid. And Jules, I don't agree with you when you're saying that he doesn't listen, he doesn't see. My experience with all these kind of players, and being a player myself, is that we hear and listen to everything. And the pressure he is there will be people talking to him. Yes, I see your point, and I guess that's what you're alluding to, is that the point is that he will know about the situation. He doesn't need any Barcelona-based papers to say that to him. That's right. But we don't know what's going on in his head. Nobody gets in there. He comes to Madrid. He has probably a big family to look after. There are people from everywhere want something from him. He comes to the best team in the world, just winning the Champions League. You have people who want the Ballon d'Or. You have Jude Bellingham. You have so many players there who needs this position, want this position. And you get there, and you think just because he's a great talent, one of the biggest football stars, maybe, if not the biggest football star in the world, that will work. It's not that easy. These are human beings. But one thing I would say, and I'm 100% sure of that, when we see 2-3 years down the road, he will turn into a Real Madrid legend. But this period is tough. It's very tough for him. And let's not underestimate it just because he's Mbappe and just because he's won everything and just because he's a superstar. This is easy. This is unbelievable hard for the young man.
So Jan obviously sees that it will turn around for Mbappe. What are the Mbappe camp planning, Jules, to ensure that he gets back to the top of his game at the Bernabeu?
It's interesting you asked me that question, because I was going to come in with something else before talking about your question on the pitch. Mm-hmm. Off the pitch, Kylian on Tuesday night. On Tuesday, I recorded an interview for this French TV show, which is really popular, super cool, on Canal Plus, called Click. And this is the first interview he's given since he made them. Okay, he spoke to Real Madrid TV a little bit there and there, but this is not. For all the requests that we had, us, ESPN, and every other media around the world, especially the French one, for all the media he could have chosen, from us to L'Equipe to France Football to a French TV, anything. This is the only one where he's actually sat down and he's going to talk about, we think, and from what we've heard, the struggles at Real Madrid, everything. And what's ironic in a way is that interview came before the Athletic Club, the Bilbao game, before the other penalty missed. And I don't know if they chose that time after the Getafe game where he scored that lovely goal, where there was the penalty scored by Bellingham, etc., and things looked a little bit better, obviously, especially after the Liverpool performance. And yet, straight after, to go back to what Alex was saying, it's one step forward, 2 steps back. It seems at the moment, it feels now that interview was maybe not done at the right time after what happened last night in Bilbao. So, and for the pitch, I don't think much will change. What they are saying to us is that he's going to keep working hard. He's got the trust of Carlo Ancelotti, of the players. There were a few rumours that some players in the dressing room were not too keen on him, maybe finding a little bit arrogant and things like that. I'm not sure that's really true. Certainly that's not what they're saying. And that he will keep working, and at some point that luck will turn a little bit. But I don't know where they stand. I've asked the question about that penalty. Should he have taken that penalty last night? To go to either we go with Alex or we go with Craig's points. He's obsessed with penalties, always been. You know, there's a contract that he signed where there's a clause where he has to take the penalty when he plays for that team. And I think he can miss 5 in a row again, to go back to Alex's point about Cristiano. He will take the 6th one, there's no doubt.
Yeah, OK, well, let's get to Carlo Ancelotti, as you mentioned it, and the trust that he's got in him and the patience he's got with Kylian Mbappe. He says he's not at his best level, but we have to give him time to adapt. He scored 10 goals. He can do better, and he's working to do better. Alex.
What do we think? This is some sort of magnificent statement from Carlo Ancelotti?
I think it's the fact that he's saying...
What do you expect him to say? What do you expect him to say? You expect him to come out and say, nah, we shouldn't have signed them. It's garbage.
He's he's still like, you're talking about superstars getting time. He's still saying, and Carlo Ancelotti is saying that.
What else are you going to say?
Well, he's actually saying that he does need to do better and he's going to get better.
Well, you know what follows day, night.
Okay, so how much time should a superstar like Mbappe get?
I don't know. How long's a piece of string?
Well, let's ask Alex. Alex, what's the feeling in Madrid about that? How much time will Kylian Mbappe be given?
He's going to keep getting chances because he's going to get picked. He's going to be in the team. He's not going to be dropped. I mean, if he were to be dropped, which I do not expect to happen, that would be such a major step from Ancelotti, principally. I can't see it. He's going to keep getting chances every week, every 3 or 4 days. And he'll keep getting opportunities to score in those games because Real Madrid, even though we keep saying they haven't been playing that well and they have been creating chances, and he has been getting chances, pretty regularly every week. As you mentioned, as Ancelotti said, he has scored 10 goals in 20 games in all appearances, in all competitions, which is not okay. It's not like a stellar record that you expect from him, but for any other player, it would be absolutely fine at this stage. So he'll keep getting picked. He'll be in the team. He'll keep getting chances, and maybe, as we so often see forwards, it's about streaks and runs of form. They'll start going in, and he'll be able to build on it. But yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
But Ancelotti is talking about himself. How much time will Ancelotti get? Ancelotti get the best player in the world, and he can't get him working. This was this discussion with. This is, you have to ask Mbappe how long time he will get Ancelotti. That's how it is.
I'm not being awkward. I'm not trying. I want
no, but absolutely.
I'm just saying.
Ancelotti is talking about himself. That's the problem. Mbappe is bigger than Ancelotti. He's bigger than Ancelotti.
He's going to give him time. I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying it's right, but he will. He will. You'll see. Ancelotti will go. We all know that Ancelotti will leave the club before Mbappe. Mbappe will get more chances than Ancelotti. I mean, you can lose 2-1 and he can miss a penalty, but Ancelotti can't do that forever. So every statement for Ancelotti now, he's talking half about Mbappe and half about himself.
I mean, Real Madrid's L's are not all Kylian Mbappe, not even close. But it's just, I'm not going to say sad because it makes no difference to me, but it's disappointing thus far just to see how he kind of looks a little deflated. And it can get on top of you. It can. I mean, when you're struggling, it's all relative, of course. When you're struggling as a player, for example, playing at Celtic in front of 60,000, there's a lot of pressure. It's not anywhere near as much as Real Madrid. But when fans are not happy and results are not coming, it's all kind of the same. And it doesn't matter who you are. It gets to you. And you don't go home. Most 99.9% of athletes do not go home and just shut the door and forget about it. They don't. And particularly not in the modern world of social media, but you go home and you mull over it and you think about it and you sweat on it and your mind is just churning and it just sort of snowballs. And I keep saying this. Carlo Ancelotti, Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, any of those players, and by the way, none of those are playing great, but they're not going to get Kylian Mbappe out of this, I'm not going to say out of this little mini slump that he's in. Nobody is. It's only you that can do it. It's only you as a person that can go out and turn it around. And I don't think there's any doubt he will. To how long it's going to take and to what capacity at this club, we just don't know. And I think that's the sort of big question is how good is he going to be at Real Madrid? How consistent and how long is it going to take?
Yes, we're going to let Alex go now. Landmark day for you, Alex. You got a disagreement from Craig Burley here in the studio. I think that might be the first time here at ESPN FC. Disagreeing with Alex?